I still remember the smell of her perfume on that sweater she always left on the couch. Lavender and lemon. Stayed in the air for weeks after she passed. And somehow, it still lingers in my memory even after all these years. They say time heals all wounds. But that's not always true. Some wounds just grow quieter. I was cleaning out the old writing desk in the corner of our bedroom when I found it. The drawer stuck a little like it always had. I pulled harder and that's when it popped open, and something slid forward gently like it had been waiting. A letter, folded neatly, yellowed at the edges, with my name written across the front in her handwriting. That soft, curling script I hadn't seen in a decade. Margaret, my wife, my partner for 43 years. She died 10 years ago, and until that moment, I thought I'd heard everything she ever had to say. I was wrong. I didn't even realize I'd stopped breathing. My name's Harold. I'm 74 now. I live in a small town in Oregon, just outside Portland. Retired, quiet days. My kids check in now and then. I have a neighbor named Pete who brings me fresh tomatoes in the summer and checks my mailbox when I forget. But mostly it's just me, and silence. Before Margaret died, the house was filled with sound. The clatter of dishes, the soft hum of her humming while folding laundry, the occasional scolding when I forgot to take my shoes off at the door. It was life. Ordinary, beautiful life. We met in 1968. She was working at a bookstore downtown. I walked in looking for a map. Walked out with a phone number instead. She was warm and sharp, the kind of woman who made you feel like you mattered just by listening. We got married in 71. Had 2 children, a boy and a girl. Built a home. Raised a life together. When the diagnosis came, it was stage 4. There was no chance to prepare. One minute she was forgetting to buy milk, the next she was in a hospital bed, and I was memorizing the way she breathed. And just like that, she was gone. No long farewell. No final speech. Just silence. Until I opened that drawer. It was a Sunday afternoon. The kind of day when you think you'll finally organize the clutter that's been quietly gathering dust for years. That desk drawer had been stuck since the week after her funeral. I couldn't bring myself to force it open back then. Too many memories lived inside those handles. But 10 years later, with the windows open and the scent of spring drifting in, I tried. And the letter came forward like it had been nudged by time itself. To Harold, it said. I stared at it for minutes, hands shaking. I didn't want to touch it, didn't want to break whatever spell had preserved it all these years. Eventually, I sat down in her chair, the one with the worn floral cushion she never let me reupholster. I held the letter like it might break apart in my hands. Then I opened it. Her voice poured out of the page like a whisper in the room. My dearest Harold, if you're reading this, then I'm already gone. The tears came instantly. I tried to blink them away, but they just kept falling. She had written the letter 3 weeks before she passed. Probably while I was picking up prescriptions or trying to distract myself with dishes. She had known. She had known she was leaving, and she wanted to leave me something more than just memories. I couldn't bring myself to say everything out loud, not with the way you looked at me, like I was still strong, like I was still yours. But I wanted you to have this, just in case. She told me she had loved me every day, even on the hard ones. Especially on the hard ones. She remembered our first apartment, with the leaky faucet and the neighbors who argued every night. How we used to laugh under blankets, whispering so we wouldn't wake the kids. She talked about the summer trips to Cannon Beach, the time I burned dinner so badly the smoke alarm short-circuited, and the moment we danced barefoot in the kitchen just because our song came on. But then she got serious. You tried so hard to be strong for me, but I saw it, Harold. I saw the fear in your eyes, the way you clenched your jaw when I was in pain. I wish I could have spared you that. I wish I could have stayed longer. She asked me not to blame myself, not to keep playing the last days over and over, not to carry the weight of what couldn't be changed. You were enough. You were always enough. Don't let grief convince you otherwise. I read those lines again and again. Then came the part that broke me completely. Please, promise me you'll keep living. I know it's hard. I know I took half of your heart with me, but the other half is still yours. Use it. Go to the farmer's market. Take walks. Plant those tomatoes you kept talking about. Call Susan and tell her you love her. And if you ever find this letter, know I'm proud of the life we built. She ended it with the same words she used to say every night, even when we were too tired to speak. I love you always, more than the moon, more than the stars. Wait for me, but not too soon. After I finished reading, I just sat there. For hours, maybe. The sun moved across the carpet. The wind changed outside. A few birds landed on the windowsill and flew off again. But I didn't move. It was like she had come back, just for a moment, to sit beside me and remind me how to breathe. For years, I had lived like I was waiting, like life was just something I had to pass through until I saw her again. But now I realized, maybe she wanted more for me than that. The next morning, I did something small. I brewed coffee and sat on the porch, her spot, the one that faced east. I brought her favorite mug, the one with the chip in the handle that she refused to throw away. I sat there in silence, watching the sky brighten, birds darting between the trees. And I whispered, "I got your note, Maggie." Felt silly at first, like I was talking to the wind, but something about it felt right, like she heard me. Over the next few weeks, I began to move again, slowly, cautiously. I cooked meals instead of microwaving. I called Susan, our daughter, and asked about the grandkids. I even bought tomato seeds. I wasn't trying to replace her. I could never. But I was remembering how to live with the ache instead of hiding from it. Her letter didn't erase the pain, but it lit a small candle inside the grief. And sometimes, in the quiet moments, that tiny light is enough. It's been 6 months since I found Margaret's letter. It sits in a wooden frame on the wall now. Not on display, but near my desk, tucked beside an old photo of us from 1974. We're laughing. I don't remember why, but it doesn't matter. Some days are still hard. I still set 2 places at the table out of habit. I still turn to tell her something and remember she's not here. But other days feel almost normal. And I think that would make her smile. I started writing letters of my own. To my kids. To myself. Even to her. They're not profound. Just little thoughts. Memories. Updates. Because now I understand the power of one last note. What it can do for a heart that's been carrying too much silence. I don't know what happens after this life. I have my guesses. My hopes. But if there is something after, if there's a porch with 2 rocking chairs waiting in the sky, then I hope she's saving me a seat. Until then, I'll keep living the way she asked. And every now and then, I'll whisper into the morning breeze, "Thank you for loving me, even in goodbye."